I'll share a business idea that I think is going to blow up in the next 18 months. HARO, link building as a service. It's definitely a six-figure business, though you'd have to work out some of the kinks and build a team. Link building is a big business and very competitive. Small companies, big companies, and people working on side hustles want to outsource this activity of link building, and they're spending a fortune on it. We're talking about any site owner that wants organic traffic from Google. So that's basically all websites. I'll give you the pros and cons of running a service business and the specifics of HARO as a link building service. I know you're probably thinking, Doug, if this is such a great business idea, why don't you do it? And I will answer that at the end. Let's go over some pros. You do set your own work hours every day, probably around the HARO emails. It's a service business and it's your service, so you can work at your leisure. Or you could hire a team so that you can manage and sell the product and market in general and just have the team do the work. The next pro is service businesses are really the fastest way to earn revenue. Affiliate sites take time. SEO takes time. Software, like software as a service, takes time and money to build, and you have to market, and you have to figure out the product market fit and a lot of other details. So it's going to take time as well. Service businesses solve problems for people right now, and they often will pay a lot of money to solve a painful problem. So it's scalable in a huge way because almost all websites want to get more traffic. And it would obviously be too much work at some point for one person, but you can hire people to help you, and it's fairly straightforward to outsource this process. The next pro, and maybe a little advice, is most sites do need promotion. They need someone out there building backlinks and letting people know that the site is out there. So it is a huge market. And the piece of advice is you should probably niche down and work with just a specific area, maybe something that you're interested in or something where there are a lot of inquiries over there on HARO. So maybe it's health or travel or something like that, business, right? Fill in the blank, but you could focus in an area, and niching down will help you refine your marketing message so that you can work with specific companies and specific niches. The next pro is it's a proven business model. There's a need in the market, and PR companies do this sort of work right now. I've been playing on HARO for the last few months, and I can see that there are quite a few PR companies that work for their clients, and they focus really hard on HARO link building. Further, I know that there are services on HARO link building popping up. They look like they're pretty new, all right? They look like they're kind of fledgling at this point, and they're charging about $400 per link, at least what I've seen in the last couple days. The next pro is you don't have to do traditional outreach like a SEO agency does. You just field the emails and the source requests from HARO, and then you reply and get the links for your clients. And the last pro is you could branch out into other PR related services, like maybe getting podcast appearances or promoting a site in general. So this could be the start of a full-blown PR agency if you wanted to do that. As a side note, you could do this service as a white label service to SEO and other PR type agencies that want to add more diversity to their link building campaigns. So in that case, you wouldn't have to sell directly or work directly with clients. You could just work with the larger SEO company, which is an interesting spin, and you wouldn't have as huge margins, but you would remove some of the complexity of finding clients. Moving on to the cons, you'd have to figure out the HARO process. You'd need to set up systems and templates and so on so that you're not going to go crazy. And if you're new to HARO, I actually have a course called HARO Link Building that lays it all out with a proven, repeatable framework. There's a link in the description if you want to check it out. The next con is sometimes people kind of suck. And if you don't like working with clients, this is probably not a good business model for you. You have to sell to potential clients. You have to work with clients. There's some account management to make sure that they're happy. So that is a con, and some people just don't like working with clients. Others love it, all right? So some people do love working with clients. They would treat it as a pro. They love selling. They love the whole thing. But if you don't like service-based businesses, then this is not a good one for you. The next con is that it may be a little bit hard for you to answer if you have multiple clients, maybe in the same industry, and give unique answers. Now, this is kind of an issue if you are not outsourcing it and you're just a sole person in your fledgling business. But if you can hire some people, that would not be as big of an issue. The next con, kind of similar. So if you're working for multiple clients, you might not be able to answer multiple HARO requests very quickly. It is very important to reply fast. So you may need help answering the emails. You may need to bring on a VA, a virtual assistant, to help you out. Speaking of the next con and virtual assistants, you can hire a team of VAs to help you out so that you can handle multiple clients and scale it up, right? That's one of the great points that I mentioned before. There's a lot of people that need these HARO backlinks, so you could scale it up because there's so many people looking for it. Hiring people can be a little bit difficult, and sometimes if you haven't worked with VAs, that process can be challenging. But Unit 3 of my course lays out the process of hiring VAs, including templates for hiring the VAs, including guides for the VAs so that they're going to be able to, work with you very effectively. Okay, so you are thinking, Doug, if this is so great, why don't you do it? I don't like service-based businesses. I started a guest posting service in 2015, and it reached a point of over 6 figures of annual revenue in under 6 months. Yay, that's fantastic. But then I realized it really wasn't for me. I didn't enjoy doing the work, so I shut it down. I shut it down really quickly and closed out all the open work that I was doing. And I didn't like finding clients. I didn't enjoy working with them in the account management, so I shut it down. But some people love to run and start service businesses. They like to build the teams. They like to be the boss, and they like working with the clients, but I just didn't dig it. So I bailed. Now for pricing, I'd recommend charging a fixed fee per month with bonus payments for the links that go live. It's a competitive industry. If it's a competitive industry, you can charge more per month and more per link. Now, pricing is kind of hard to figure out. There's a whole science behind it, so you will need to experiment with this. I can tell you that SEO agencies and link building agencies often charge hundreds of dollars per backlink. So I'd probably start off with a baseline of, say, $50 per month to monitor the HARO request on a daily basis, which is 5 days a week. Remember, I said it's important to reply fast, and I'd sign up for the paid plan of HARO so that you can get the source requests from the reporters sooner. That way, you'll get the jump on the competition, and it's more likely that they're going to use you as a source. Then I'd add bonus payments for the links that are live based on the domain rating or the domain authority. And you can get more tips on how to use HARO for link building in my course, HARO Link Building. If you have any questions, just leave a comment below.